Yes, I was the first batch. I was the first person.
Wow.
Uh,
Okay.
so I'm a new guy who doesn't know much in Android development. I've just come to a company as a national service personnel, and I
Uh-huh.
want to learn from the engineers, senior engineers.
Okay.
And what? After 2 months of joining the company, so I won't describe mine exactly as imposter syndrome, but I'll say it's a bit similar. I felt like leaving because of these code issues, because I feel like there was legacy code dumped on me, which even even experienced developers don't like it, where they go on a job and then it's like,
Joe, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. Introduce yourself, who you are.
all right, so I'm Joe Latte and I'm a full stack developer.
Tell us how you got into tech.
Okay, so I'll say I had a passion of engineering ever since I was a kid, uh, building things. I initially wanted to be a mechanical engineer. Like
Okay.
I liked electronics. I liked fixing things, how they work, and all that.
Okay.
So due to that, I chose general science school, and when I was done with SS, I chose telecom engineering. I actually wanted to do electrical engineering, but I couldn't do electrical engineering, so my other option was doing telecom engineering, which was also good because it was like a mixture of electrical engineering and some other electronics and other things about telecommunications. So
Okay.
it
Okay.
worked for me. So it was during my, I think my first year in school that I heard of something called programming.
Okay.
Yes, I didn't know what programming was like.
So it was that secondary school,
No, university.
university.
Yes, I was like,
Wow.
I've heard about programming, but it's like I didn't know anything about code, like
Okay.
AID. No, I didn't know anything about it.
Okay.
So level 100, where it's like I got introduced to programming, and the first programming language was C plus plus.
Okay.
Yes,
So wait, you go to the university with what course? What course?
telecom telecom
Telecom
engineering.
engineering.
Yes.
And during that course, you had to learn programming.
Yes, we had a class because the telecom engineering is a bit of like a mixture of computer engineering and electrical engineering because of how there's a bit of programming in telecommunications. Let's say the Arduino, this you program microcontrollers at
Okay.
certain points.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah. I
so
get
they
that.
expose you to a bit of
Programming.
programming.
Okay.
So it was during that time that I got to see what programming was about.
Okay.
We did C++, we installed code blocks and wrote down some code and all that.
Okay.
Yes.
So your dream job before you got to know about tech was to
To be an electrical engineer or mechanical
electrical.
engineer. Yeah.
Okay. Now I know you're a software engineer. So
Yeah.
at what point did you decide, okay, being electrical engineer is not what I want to do anymore. I want to do software engineering.
Okay. So yes. So as I said, I got introduced to programming in level 100 as I was studying my course.
Mhm.
And my first impression was I didn't like it. I didn't like because I wasn't understanding anything. I couldn't really do any produce like anything. All the assignments they were giving me, I wasn't understanding anything, and I failed.
You feel
I failed. I failed that class. So one of few people to fail.
okay.
Yes, I know people didn't understand things in the class, but I was surprised that I was part of the few people who failed. So I was like, I'm not going to touch anything programming. Yes.
Okay.
So it was in level 300 that uh, I really wanted to do something, and I realized that I have to program to kind of learn programming to kind of be able to build that software. When I wanted to build that thing I wanted to build, started looking into Java and how because I know that Java was like the language. If you want to build mobile apps those times, Java was the most popular in building Android application and all those things.
Okay.
So I didn't have any guidance, so I tried learning the thing on my own. It wasn't really doing. But I think the time where I started picking up was when I met uh, these guys from Co-Train. I met the
Okay.
CEO.
Okay.
I met him on campus. I was friends with the head of engineering club on campus. So I used to go to his room all the time. We used to have chats and all that. So one day, I think the CEO of Code Train came there. He was also starting his company. And
Okay.
he was looking for people to enroll and all that. And he gave the engineering guy a flyer. And the guy didn't know who to give it to. So when I came, they just gave it to me. Like, oh, if you want to learn programming,
Programming.
you can just join these people. And I was so excited about it because that was like for me it's an opportunity to kind of know about the programming. And
But was it free?
it wasn't free, but it was very cheap.
Very cheap.
So I was
Because
excited about
yeah.
that. Like, oh, this is very cheap and all that. So I gave it to a few people in my class to see if they will want to join. And nobody was really interested, but I really didn't mind. So I showed up at the office and met the guy. And I mean, to my surprise, I was the only one who had registered for the
As in
like the only one.
the whole
The whole
course,
school, the whole like I
you're the only
was the
one,
only one.
and you're the first batch.
Yes, I was the first batch. I was the first person.
Wow.
Uh,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
That's interesting. That's
yeah,
really, really
yeah.
interesting.
It's, that my journey with coaching is also another topic on its own.
Oh,
Yes, so I was the first guy, and even the guy who was teaching me, it was interesting though. The guy who was teaching me also had started learning Android development just 2 months before I showed up.
as in, so what he was going to teach you,
Yeah.
he just learned it
Yes.
two
So
weeks. Is it
so
2 weeks?
yes, he had learned this about 2 months prior
2 months.
to
Okay.
meeting me. So
Okay.
they had just started it, and it wasn't even called coaching. It was called Sleek Job. Yes,
Okay.
and that's how I started my journey learning with them. So I think most of what happened in that journey was more of a mentorship. I would say it was more mentorship than teaching because I was the first person.
Mhm.
It's a lot of experiments. So it's like, should we teach him HTML, CSS? Should we go straight into Android, Java? And I said, oh, I don't mind learning everything. So they just took me through HTML, CSS. Then they wanted to take me through PHP, but it wasn't really doing. Then they took me.
So it
Thing-
was it a space, or
so
like
yeah, they had a
you?
space. They had a nice office, One Airport Square. Yes, they had a very nice office there, and that's how they started.
Wow.
That's how they started.
I think they should watch this video. Like, you were
Yeah.
the first person and the only person
Yes. So I was the
in
first
that.
person who had registered from the school, and
Wow.
aside from
Okay.
that, they had tried to do something. So later, after I came on board, before I think I saw some other names coming in there, some 2 or 3 names, and then yeah,
So that's where you build your programming skills
yes, that's
from.
where I would say it opened my eyes to what programming is, and I became passionate about it because of how he took me through it. He made it so relatable, so and by breaking it into steps, what you need to focus on, and showed me what people have done. I mean, one of the things that he did that made encouraged me, and I think it also encouraged every other person that joined, was within like 3 weeks, he'll let you build your first Android app. Like
As in,
like
from
you
learning your HTML, CSS, and the
Yes, yes,
Android
the
to start.
XML thing.
Uh-huh.
So he just let you build something with XML. It's not like a fully functional app, but like you design your
Basic
first
stuff.
screen and all that,
Mhm.
and you let you run it on your phone. So I could be so excited. Wow, I built this. Like
Yeah.
wow, I'm an engineer. It's like you don't know the journey ahead, but like you
Yeah.
are kind of encouraged. And that model alone was something that encouraged many people. Because when somebody see that "Ah, I've done something and I've deployed it on a phone and it's working and can show it to his brothers and sisters, like I did this. Like
And this was around what year?
this was around 2017.
2017.
Yes,
I met you. I got to know you
2018.
2018.
Yes,
Interesting.
yes,
Okay.
2017.
So to wrap the whole coaching stuff up, that was where you started
The
the original
original, yes.
programming
Started
journey.
knowing what it's about and all that.
Okay.
Yes.
So how long did it take you to finish up with code train, and what happened next?
Okay. So one thing about coaching is that when I think I finished with them around 2018, and but I was still coming around, as some projects I was working on. They
So
gave
as
me
at the time you finished in 2018, what could you do? Were you building wild stuff or like
I wasn't building wild stuff. There was still so much I didn't know.
okay,
So after that, you see, they connect you to companies.
okay,
So that's when I was completing school. Because 2017 I was in 300. So the time that I completed with the coaching, I was also completing school, and they linked me with a company, Invest 4A,
okay, for him.
to
Yeah.
be an Android developer.
So after the time you joined 4He, I
Yes,
think that's when I got to know you.
yes,
Now you joined 4He as a mobile developer,
yes. A national service personnel as a mobile developer.
mobile developer.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
and yeah.
And that was where everything started. Started working for Hey, gain more
Yes, that
experience.
was the plan, to gain more experience, understudy and gain more experience, but it didn't go that way.
What do you mean by didn't go that way?
So I'm a new guy who doesn't know much in Android development. I've just come to a company as a national service personnel, and I
Uh-huh.
want to learn from the engineers, senior engineers.
Okay.
And what? After 2 months of joining the company, the CTO quit, and I become the mobile developer for the company. I become the mobile developer of the company, and I was like, it's one of the, I don't know how to describe the experience. I didn't want this.
Worst experience
I
ever.
tell you, worst experience ever, because my boss was not. It was a very wild guy. Have you met him before?
Waiting for
Yes,
afraid of him before.
yes. And even while the CTO was leaving, he told me that he's so sorry for me. Like that's what he was telling me. I was like, hmm. So it was just left with two national service personnel, and we were running the company. There was one guy who was handling the web. I remember him,
Mm, that was
Graham.
Graham.
Yes,
Okay. And the city wasn't Graham.
the city wasn't. The city was Niram.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
So I think even for me to set up and get to know the code base and everything, set up my ID and everything, it took me about a month to do that. Like just understand what's going on, and I was,
Before even getting into
yes,
the code
I'm now coming
itself.
to understand the code, and the guy has quit.
Okay. Let's
So I
go.
was so hot. I remember all the time I used to disturb Oliver, because
Okay.
Oliver would come and he said, I'm lost. I don't know what's happening. They'll say, oh, try and let's see if we can integrate this payment system. I don't know what is going on in the code. Just imagine someone who's new to programming or mobile development, and now they have left legacy code of about 4 years. They've just dumped it on you. Yes, and they've given it to
Crazy.
you, and it's like, we need you to deploy things now. Every week they're expecting, like, there's going to be a review meeting, and expecting that you have deployed something. And if you've not deployed anything, it's like you are just going to be blasted in the meeting. Yeah, and that was the pressure I was going through every week, every week.
There was a lot going
And so
on.
there's a lot going on.
Wow.
Yes,
Okay. That's
so that was how I entered into, that was my introduction to
that's
the,
that's like a worst case.
I tell you, it was a lot of pressure. I was able to overcome it to a certain level. I was able to stabilize myself, kind of try and do something. I was able to produce something. At least I was able to produce something. And so my core aim was, at that moment, was maintaining the app, making sure it doesn't break. Because if it breaks, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I was able to understand it. So I think after 3 months, I was able to know the places to touch, the places not to touch, and where to add up to the code and all that. So yeah, I had help from other people. Like Oliver was a great help to me. Anytime I didn't understand it, I just go to him. It's like, what's going on over here? It's like, uh,
You had to leave that company, apply for a different job.
yeah,
How's the process like? Because I know with the first job, it was national service and all that.
yeah.
When you had to leave, how's the, applying for roles, struggles like?
Okay, so interesting. At the time I was leaving was when the pandemic had just started. When I left, the next month the pandemic started. There was a lockdown.
That was crazy.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
And When I looked at my experience that I had back, I realized that the all came to my mind that because after that, what happened was that the city also quit, Graham also quit, and now they also dumped their what Angular code on me. I don't know anything about Angular. I don't know anything about PHP.
So before you left, you were doing
Android.
from the Android, the
Yes.
mobile side,
Yes.
and I had to do the web.
Yes. Just when I was getting comfortable with the Android, Graham, the city,
Ah,
and then they dumped the Angular, PHP, everything on me. So after I left there, and when I was recounting my experience, I realized that I don't want to find myself in a position whereby it's like, I don't know this. I want to know a little bit of something so that if I'm ever placed there, because I thought that was the normal experience everywhere. That if you go to work, like they'll give you React, they'll give you Android, they'll give you everything. You'll be doing everything at the same time. Because that was my first experience.
okay.
So before I was looking for a job, I decided no, I want to I want to stay at home for some time and master the web framework because all I knew was a bit of Android
Okay.
and I was entering into a bit of a Flutter at that time. So I wanted to master a bit of back end and a bit of front end
Okay.
before I entered the job market again.
But as you've come to stay at home, as you've decided to stay at home to learn, how was your finance? Or you would have probably had
It
to
wasn't
save?
easy because I remember that time. You see, I just thought that maybe I'll be getting some side gigs, yes, and then we go to get something small. But at that time, that's when I and Eric, yes,
Okay.
we were trying to start our own thing, our own company where we build stuff for people
Okay.
and also trying to do our YouTube thing. At
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
And
that's
what
what.
happened to you?
Oh,
The
I feel like the energy,
energy wasn't
yeah,
there.
energy wasn't there because the way everyone was talking to us, I, Eric, and another guy, everybody was talking. We were saying a lot of nice things, and had some app in mind to do a lot of wonderful things. I feel like if you had done that app by now, I don't know, we wouldn't be here. But like the energy went down after our first contract, which went well. The energy went down and all those kind of things. So I just back to kind of focusing on getting another job and all that.
Yeah.
So started learning React, mastering my Node.js,
Mhm.
and then when I felt comfortable enough, then I started applying for job. But it wasn't easy those days because the contracts weren't coming as much.
So you
Because
needed to look for
yeah,
a full time
yes, because initially our plan was that because at that time too, Eric had also left.
job.
Yes,
Okay.
so both of us were not
You guys are
yeah,
jobless,
jobless.
trying to get a new job or
Yeah,
start your own
yeah, start our
gig
own gig. Yeah,
company.
exactly. And
Okay.
we're just like trying to pitch into people. There was this PO system we were trying to build. So we got our first clients, we built a PO system, and we're trying to extend it and make it in such a way that it could be a subscription service kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yes. So we really built that thing. We built a desktop version of the thing, and now we're planning on how to see if we can take it to the cloud and all that. And, but where the money wasn't really coming, a lot of customers were saying some other things like maybe if you build a PO system, they're expecting you to also come with a desktop installation and all those kind of things.
Oh,
Yeah. And when we look at our budgets, the money that they were asking for, it wasn't really going to work for us. So eventually we just put on pause and then started learning and started applying for jobs and all that. So I started mastering React and Node.js. That time I think Eric was doing Vue. He also
okay.
shifted to do React and all that. So I think by the end of the year, when I was confident enough, I started applying for jobs. And then I got uh, my job at the e-commerce company where they were building. I think they had a mobile app, but the app was crap. There was like it wasn't really functional.
Was that the phone
Yes, the phone
company?
company.
Okay.
Yes, they had a mobile app that they had built in React Native, and there was an engineer there, and he was trying to rebuild the app in Flutter, but
Wasn't
it
working.
wasn't working. It wasn't synced up at all. So when I
Okay.
came in, I mean, that job interview was also very, very interesting. I mean, the how I think I didn't even apply for that. I don't know how they got my contact. They just called me, show up for interview. The next day, show up for interview, and then
You did not apply.
I didn't apply. I didn't
Ah,
go online and see this company and apply. So when I even was showing up at the company, And I was sitting by the other people. I was like, "Oh, what did you apply for?" And they also didn't know what they applied for.
This is like some blessings that
I
has
was
just come your way.
I was like, I don't know what I applied for. I was like, I know I've been applying for like software roles online, but I don't know these people. So when I entered there, the interview was very, I don't know, it was very funny. The question they asked me, what is API? That's the question they asked me for interview.
No, you see, I think that company is not a tech
It's not,
company. They
yes,
just sell tech products
yes,
and they are big.
yes.
So I don't think.
His values, you should have like hire somebody who has that expertise for an interview session if you're going to.
Just pardon them. All right, so let's switch from this.
Yeah.
But so you mean you got a job later which you didn't even apply for?
Yes. I do
That's
remember.
crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on. So have you ever felt like leaving a job
Hmm.
because of you having code issues, frustrated because you think the code is just messed up, you don't understand why this is not working and all that.
Yes.
People would call this what code syndrome or imposter syndrome, whatever they call it. Have you ever felt that, had that experience?
Okay. So I won't describe mine exactly as imposter syndrome, but I'll say it's a bit similar. I felt like leaving because of these code issues, because I feel like there was legacy code dumped on me, which even even experienced developers don't like it, where they go on a job and then it's like there's a lot of legacy code and there's nobody. There's a difference even if there's somebody there to take you through it and explain it, but here in this case there was nobody to take you
Because
through.
they've left.
They've all left, and like something needs to be done like every week.
You need to ship
You need to
something
ship
new.
something, and if it's not working, it's not easy. Usually we can go for a meeting, right, where we have accountant, everybody there, and the meeting is just about me, just receiving it. Like, why isn't this working? Why is the app crashing? I'm about to do a demo and the thing will crash. It's like, why is this? And it's like,
That experience would be very worse.
so anytime I was going for a review meeting, Eric used to laugh at me because hmm, everybody knows the meeting is going to be about me.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it wasn't a nice experience.
But did you ever confronted your superiors about the fact that these are the things that are going through, or you didn't have the chance to even talk
The
about it?
superior was the CEO. He's the only person there.
Yes, so I mean, could you like were you able to tell him these are the reasons why things are not really going as expected,
I,
or
ch-
like you
I
couldn't?
did, but it just as for a while, it looks like I'm incompetent. That's how it looked like. And I also felt at a certain level that oh maybe I'm not good enough and all that. I'm not. That's why these things are happening and all that.
So you end up feeling that
Yes,
you are just not good
yes,
enough.
that's how I felt like most of the time. Like
So wait, so when you spoke to him, he just felt like you are not doing your work well.
from how he was expressing himself, it's like he's being merciful. He has given me a lot of time to work and understand, like giving me some space, and he's expecting some kind of results, and I'm not delivering that kind of results. And that's how like the meeting was all the time. Review meeting. I mean, it was interesting. It was interesting.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. So I felt some. So that was one of the reasons why I didn't feel comfortable. I felt like leaving at a point in time. Because I didn't feel productive. Yes, I
Wow.
feel like I'll try and figure out a lot of things, and they'll say, "Oh, little has been done. Like not much has been done." That's the kind of feedback I get from my superiors, and it's even the non-technical staff who also felt like I'm also not doing much because they don't understand what's
Yeah.
going on. They don't understand what's going on. They just feel like I'm making excuses.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So my next question for you is that are you in any developers community sort of, or what do you think about the whole tech community something?
Okay. So, well, I'll say I'm in a developer, I'm in a community, but I'll also say that I'm not so active in
Okay.
most of them. I think 2 days ago I received a call from Nest. I think they are doing an alumni thing.
Okay.
Yes, on the 20th. So I would say I'm kind of part of the, but it's like I think I lost my phone and then I got removed from the WhatsApp group. So I honestly don't know what is going on there. And I'm also part of the coaching community.
Okay.
Yes, I think I'm cool with the CEO, so I can text him and all that. And but I don't really participate much in the group. Though sometimes when we meet, we do talk. And sometimes I remember some time ago when I was at Mest, he used to bring the new students to me to tell them that, oh, this
Yes,
guy
yes.
is a product of.
So they just come and like show the
Yeah.
students. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so they'll bring the students and say, oh, this guy is a product of coaching, this, that he's now working in this company. You didn't know what I was going through then, but
Nice one.
yeah.
But how so these communities that you belong in, how are they helping, or do you think, apart from let's say code train, which is a school, definitely a school would have a group after they've completed and all
Yeah.
that, but a community like Dev Congress,
Yeah.
are you in Dev Congress?
So I have showed up for a couple of I think one of their meetups with a Marriott Hotel. That was, I don't know, 2018, there about
Do you
2019.
think that community, or a community like that where it's just developers from anywhere coming together trying to talk about tech stuff, do you think that community helps? How do you think these communities have helped you? That's if you are in one
So
communities.
I think I'm part of a number of communities though. I recently joined a community, Tunga. I don't know whether you've heard of them before. So I think they are this East African people, but they cover a bit wide area, East Africa to West Africa. We have Nigeria, Uganda, or a lot of developers in that community. And
Okay.
I mean, one of the benefits of being a community is that you get to know someone who can link you to a job, as you said. And I think they post a lot of job offers and a lot of things in
Exactly.
that community. And I also was part of this Deaf Congress. I think I was in their Slack group. And sometimes I see Bubu and some other people post some job offers and things in there. And one thing that a community brings is that you are able to, one of the things you have easy access to job opportunities.
Yeah.
Yes, you can just talk to one guy who can talk to another person who can link you to a place, a
Yeah.
job, or a gig. Yes. Or you learn something, you get an idea as you are talking with somebody, a business idea can pop up. So I think community is very important. Community, you get to know things, it opens your eyes to things that you don't know about. I've also benefited much from the MEST community because I've seen people do things and it has opened my eyes to the possibility of, oh, this can be done. You understand?
Great.
Yes. So there are so many advantages of the community. I just wish even I don't know, I wish that the meetups would even be more frequent. Yes.
That's what I also think. Because currently, I know Dev Congress happens once in a
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Actually twice, but one in Kumasi and one in Accra.
Yeah.
The Accra one was supposed to happen last Friday, but for some reason didn't happen. So
Amazing.
next year it would come up. I don't know what the plans are with the organizers, but I'm sure it should happen. But yeah, so before we started, you said you had plans of becoming
Telecom
a
engineering.
telecom engineer, but then you are now a developer.
Yeah.
Now, do you regret not following that dream of becoming an electrical engineer, or you still stand with your current decision that you are going to be a software engineer for the rest of your life, or
Mm,
at least from now to the next whatever year?
okay, so the thing is that after level 300, one of the reasons why I entered into software development was I realized that I didn't know anything practical about telecommunications engineering.
Okay.
So I just saw that when I got out of school, I'm not going to be useful. I'm not going to be able to produce anything. So I just realized that no, because I was there and I was thinking, what do I do for my project work whilst I was in school? And
Okay.
nothing came in mind because I don't know anything. All I know is theory. So I'm happy that I chose the path as a software developer. And one of even the reasons is because there is a component of software programming in telecom engineering.
Yeah.
Telecom engineering is broad,
Yeah.
yes. So if at any point in time I want to go back into telecom engineering, I
Telecom.
can still do that.
But
Yes,
you just have to go to the aspect that requires you to do
yes,
some programming.
exactly.
Okay, cool.
So I don't regret becoming a software developer. I feel like for me it's versatile. It's
Yeah.
can easily delve into a lot of aspects in
Yeah.
other areas. And I also like the idea of I also like the idea of not having to always be in an office like that. And I feel like when you're a developer, you can easily have that ability. It may be a bit difficult if you are a telecom engineer or another kind of, as a way you have to be on site most of the
On
time.
site,
Yes, and
yeah.
all that. So I don't regret my decision being a software developer.
Cool, cool. So, last question, and then it should be done. So now the last question is: now you've gone through all these things. Your initials were like very horrible,
Yeah.
trying to get into your first job, and all CEOs trying like pushing code on all those things. What would you be your advice? Now you have 4 5 years experience, right?
Yeah.
What would be your 4 5 years experience advice to someone who probably wants to now get into code training? I'm just using code training as
Okay.
example. We are not
Mm,
advertising code train or something. We are
okay.
just based on his experience. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's a beginner, someone who wants
Mm,
to learn. Yeah.
all right. So what I would say is that right now Coachman has refined their things, done lots of improvements. It's not like how I entered, and it's a great space to be in. I would say if you want to enter there, what I would say is that you have to focus. They will ask you what do you want to focus on. So if
Okay.
you want to build, you want to enter into web technology, then I'll say you focus there. If you want to enter into mobile, then you focus there. You just have a project in mind. One of the things that helped me and inspired me because I had a project in mind, something I wanted to do. That's the reason why I was learning, going through all the difficulties, trying to understand what mobile development is because I wanted to build a certain mobile app.
Did you end up building the mobile app?
The interesting thing is that after 4 to 5 years, I started doing that thing. This is like last year. That's when I started working on that project.
Working on it.
Yes,
And you're still working on
I'm
it.
still working on it.
But why is it difficult for programmers to build something for themselves? Have you noticed that?
I've noticed it. I've noticed it.
Why is it so? I've asked myself that question so many times. Maybe I should just ask you.
Um, I feel like sometimes we lose sight of the real target because as a programmer, when you enter in there, your focus sometimes becomes code. It's like, is this working? But maybe you need to see the broader picture of the thing and the purpose of what it's going to achieve. So that when you meet some kind of difficulties, you don't stop and you overcome it. Because if you are deploying things, anything you want to build, there comes a lot of challenges, not even just the programming aspect of it,
Okay.
but the other aspects could be financial, it could be marketing, a
Yeah.
whole lot of other things come in.
So sometimes you can actually build a product, but how to market it and push it
Exactly.
out. So the code will just be in your repos and
Yes.
that's it.
It's one of the reasons why I told you I wanted to do something and Eric.
Mhm.
We had built the thing, I had built the UI, everything, and then I realized that everybody's energy was low because we had done some calculations to see the amount of money we need to push this thing
And
into
once
the
the money
market.
came, the total came,
Like
everyone was
everybody
like,
was like, "This is impossible," and it was that app was going to involve Google Maps. And when we look at the pricing of the Google Maps and all those kind of things, like everybody was discouraged. And I was like, let's just push on. Maybe we may get an investor. Something could happen. But like everybody has just
the
lost it. Like
energy
it's
wasn't
like
there.
not possible. So some of these are some of the things that developers look at along the line. They have a very nice idea, but as they're going, they ask, make some inquiries and find out that this and this is involved, and it's like they're now thinking, am I wasting my time? Because sometimes when you're doing these things, it's at the sacrifice of you getting a job opportunity or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So when a person sits down and realizes that this time that I'm wasting on this idea that may not work,
Mhm.
I let me just get a job and get money and then be okay. If I get a job, I'll do it. But they're lying. When they get a job, they're going to be so
No,
busy. You don't
yeah.
want to get time to focus on that. Yeah. So, as developers, we look at some of these challenges. We tend to decide, okay, let me just go and get a job because you can get a job, a very lucrative job, and be like, let me just forget about the dream or let me put it on hold. Before I realize 5 years has come, it's like
Yeah.
the thing has not
Yeah.
materialized. So the major challenge. I think you will need somebody. That's why you need somebody who's doesn't have to be technical, but who's with you, who will remind you of the vision, who can,
Mm-hmm.
put two and
So
two
always, yeah,
together.
you need a team when like trying to build
You
something
need a
that
team.
okay.
Because you see, people come to me that, oh, I want to do this app, I want to do this thing, and then sometimes I just thought about, oh, okay, that's a nice idea because before you probably the app the person has brought to me that he wants to do, about four people have also come with me the same idea.
Mm,
So sometimes I just ask the person some simple questions. Have you spoken to the locals? Have you spoken to the people that you want to do this for? Because
mm,
sometimes you are developing something you think is a good thing, but you haven't even spoken to the people who will be your major.
using yeah.
Yes. So it's like the person do and get stuck, or maybe the person will be able to launch the product,
But
realize that no one is using the thing.
yeah,
So I mean, there are a whole lot of things, surrounding. I think app development is not just about building the app.
building the app. Great, great, great. This a lot of info we got from you. One last thing.
Sure.
I always say the last thing, but one last thing. We are almost getting into 2024. I know you are a mobile. I know you are mobile and web,
Yeah.
right? Mobile and web developer. What programming languages would you? I'm not. Don't look at it like the best or
Mm,
it's better than each other. Just what programming languages would you recommend for mobile developers to look into for 2024 and then for web as well?
okay. So, well, for mobile development, I've done Kotlin, Java, Flutter, and
Kotlin,
Java.
Java,
Yeah,
Flutter, they are
Flutter.
all different
Yes,
languages that can be used for
for mobile
mobile
development.
development.
Yes.
Okay.
I think the only one I'm yet to enter inside is React Native, but I mean it's both with TypeScript, JavaScript.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll say I think I encourage developers to move into Flutter. Flutter is I think has a lot of potential. I know a lot of people in my circle nowadays are doing React Native, but I also feel like they should learn Flutter because they are they are moving into other spaces. They are taking over the web slowly and also moving to desktop application.
Desktop. Yeah.
Yes, even IoT is
Which
another thing.
React Native is not yet into
Yes,
desktop stuff.
exactly.
Okay.
So they have a potential. They have a potential to do a lot of things if you learn Flutter or that.
Okay. So how about the web? Do you
So
still
the
recommend Flutter for web?
no, I wouldn't recommend Flutter for
Okay,
right
why
now.
wouldn't you recommend Flutter for when you just said that Flutter is
I
the
mean, you also have to consider the market, what people
okay,
are looking for
exactly.
right now.
So what so the value the market is saying that they want Flutter or React Native for mobile.
Mobile, yes.
Okay, so for web,
For web, I think you should learn TypeScript.
TypeScript.
Yes. Even though JavaScript, just kind of brush it up and then learn TypeScript. The learning curve shouldn't be much. And I think that's one of the most recommended programming languages for the web. I think JavaScript is the language of the web.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Because me, I from what I know, JavaScript is, I mean, TypeScript is just something small,
Yes,
just to restrict people from
exactly.
doing some certain things. Yeah. In my current job, I've been using JavaScript a lot, so I try to use TypeScript in
Yeah.
between because some of the teammates use TypeScript. So yeah,
Yes. But you see, I'll say if you are starting with programming, I think one of the best languages to learn is Java.
Java, Java.
Java. That is going to open you up to a lot of concepts in programming.
Do you think at this time 2023, almost getting to 2024, do you think it's necessary for someone to go and learn Java?
Yes. You see,
Hmm.
because Java nowadays, even if you see how people write JavaScript code, it's like they've built a lot of object-oriented principles, and that's how they're writing their their JavaScript code. So people just ask, why don't you just shift to an object-oriented programming if you are going to write a functional program like an object-oriented program? And because I was coming from Java, something like TypeScript was so easy and nice. I even actually wanted something like that. But I realized that some people that didn't have that experience were a bit slow about
To get
approaching
it.
ES.
Yeah.
So when you do that, it really opens your eyes to a lot of things. And I think when you even enter into back end development, Java is one of the the big languages that people are looking at. So if you desire to even go deeper into back end development, a language like Java, that having that knowledge will kind of guide you into
Nice, nice,
those
nice, nice,
aspects.
nice. So yeah, that's it. Thank you, and I really liked all the information you shared with us about that experience you had. Like, I was still going to talk about it after we are done with all this YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like, Charlie, that experience for a beginner is really,
Oh,
really
it's not.
bad.
Yeah.
It's really, really bad. So, yeah, thank you so much, and I
Welcome.
appreciate you coming through.
Yeah.
See you another time.
Yeah.
All right.